Hello everyone, this is another game of a series, casting to Conc. Right now we have John Wick's dog again from the team game, where he is a Diamond 1, but uh, in this match he is a gold player in ones. So we'll see how this goes. So he immediately queues up a scout. He did take in the our advice, and he is only making the house with one vill, which is good. Where is his... Okay, the scout is up here. This is really what you want to do against most civs. You want to try to find their deer pack. Unfortunately, dog went to the wrong side because the deer pack was over here, but that's pretty just RNG based. He did find a scat or a wolf, but we'll see if he comes back and kills it later or what happens. Okay, the next scout is going out, and this scout should go to the right side, because on Hill and Dale you spawn with one deer pack in your base, but then there's the other one is either on the left or the right. But it's going straight in, which isn't really the correct call. What happened to this wolf? It's still there. Okay, now he should be killing this deer pack, and he also should take note of these wolves. He doesn't need to kill them now, but he does need to at least come back for them later. Where's our third scout? Did we make a third scout? No, it doesn't look... That's a mistake right there, not making the third scout. It looks like he just wants to drop off, which is fine. He does need to make sure that his opponent doesn't kill this deer. That might be why he's coming back, but ideally you want to have your third scout come over here and kill your deer. This is, you really can't let your opponent just come and kill your deer like this. Okay, now you can start fighting. Alright, he sees this. Hold on, I'm just gonna quickly look up settings, controls, observer replay, and how do I enable the fog of war? Oh, Shift Alt 1, okay. So Shift Alt 1. Okay. Well, that didn't enable the fog of war, whatever. The scout not doing anything. It looks like he did get some bounty here. Now, the thing is, dog hasn't really gotten much bounty. He's killed 3 here. I assume he's killed most of these deer. He didn't find this deer pack. So if we just go back to regular UI, we can see his bounty, and I predict it's going to be quite low. Yeah, he's only gotten 30, which means he didn't actually find any of this deer pack either. And this is quite bad. You need like at least 50 to even go feudal. But Roos without tier 1 bounty is already in a very, very bad spot. But he should be able to kill these wolves and at least get tier 1. Okay. Now it's time to place the Kremlin. Where should you place Kremlin in this scenario? Well, you've already got a really good spawn here. Like, you could place Kremlin like over here. It covers your gold. And the other thing to take note is HRE is almost certainly not going to aggress you. Like, you could even make a Kremlin up here, and that means he's not going to be able to come through the front of your base and then just get some little walls up here. So, looking at this, I see 3 potential spots. We can do it here. This covers our gold, covers our food sources. We can do it here. If we want to go a fast second TC, covers the stone, covers the wood. And we can also go here if we want to place it more aggressive, but that'll set us back a bit because it is so far from the TC. So let's see where he places it. Right, it is going to be here. This is very passive. If you want to get the stone in the wood, you should probably just place it farther up, because now he can squeeze past on the left side. We have to, and we're also aging up with 8 vills. 8 vills is too many vills, because like, if we're on 7 on food here, I assume we want stable first, which is good. Okay, I should also take note something else. Against HRE, a lot of the times you just want to 1 base and just try to kill them quickly, but you can also 2 TC. Okay, he does have 5 on wood. The next one should probably come and build a lumber camp. You should remember that if you just rally over to the wood line, that by the time your village chops down one, like, it gets the tree chopped down, it doesn't even gather from it, you can have the lumber camp there. Yeah, and the other thing, he didn't get enough bounty to actually make his first night, really. Yeah, and no wheelbarrow. Okay, now he's gonna get a 3rd wolf, which is gonna give him enough to make a night. Okay, he also moved vills off of the Kremlin, which is the good call. And now if he wants to make a stable first, he can do that. This is a mistake though. He should try to make a stable as soon as he ages up. And the 7 on food is also a vill too many. As you can see, he stacked up a lot of food, which is pretty inefficient. Okay, we're making the stable now. Ideally this comes down on like 30 seconds sooner, but that's fine. If you're gonna move 5 vills to gold, then you should be going for a like a 1 base play to me. So yeah, he's gonna go for this. You should be making a lumber camp right now, and we immediately want to queue up a knight. Yeah, because we could have had a knight in our opponent's base by now, and he has not invested into any sort of defense. And so if we had a knight, okay, we've finally got them in queue, but they've just now been queued up. I don't think there's any more on the map. Okay, he's up to 170 bounty. Let's switch it back to caster mode. Alright, the HRE is actually invested in 2 prelates, which I guess makes sense in this scenario, but our HRE could have made their arc in here and then buffed up both. The knight is finally coming out at 6 minutes. That's pretty bad timing, because as a French player, you know, you can start making your knight at 4 minutes, or even faster if you rush your age up. Roost doesn't really. Roost tends to age up later than French, and it also has to make the stable, so you're looking at like a 4:30 timing instead of a 4 minute, or quicker than 4 minute. But as we can see, our HRE is almost castle, and we haven't even started pressuring. Where's our knight? We start making it. Yeah, it's all the way back here. This is a 7-minute night. Very, very slow. Okay, and now we're making the blacksmith first, but we're also going on stone. Like, this blacksmith, we should have at least 2 or 3 production buildings, and we should have units out before we start making the blacksmith. Like, we don't want to. We actually want units to benefit from the text. A good rule of thumb is you should have 10 units out before you even start researching. Unless you're going for, unless you know exactly what you're doing with your timings. But as you can see, HRE already clicking up to castle. And what a lot of newer players struggle with against HRE is that, you know, if you're too slow on your timings, you can let them get castle before you actually age. Now, this is some good micro here. He's, as long as we don't let the scout die, the knight didn't take any damage from that engagement, and the scout tanked all the damage, which is pretty nice. These spearmen are still not hardened. We're getting a little bit of damage done here, which is good. But right now, we need archers out. And another thing people do is they panic when they see HRE go castle and they think I need to go castle. But if as you can see, this HRE player only has 2 sheep left. And if we just get a bunch of archers out, then we can camp like both these wood lines, this gold, and he can't gather anything. So all we need to do is keep pressuring. We finally see the archery ranges down, but like, you really want these archery ranges before the blacksmith, and we're going for second TC. This second TC at this time is a mistake, because you could go for a fast second TC, like you get one nade out really fast, and you immediately go second TC. But at this point, the HRE is going castle, and if you allow the HRE to get castle and actually get units out, then you're going to be fighting from behind with the second TC. And you're also not going to be able to contest the relics, and then you're going to have to get your own castle, except you're behind because you let the HRE get all the relics, basically. We really need to see archers out right now. Or we really needed to see archers out like 3 minutes ago, to be honest. Alright, and now HRE is getting castle. If you're playing a knight civ, you can fight against a castle HRE as feudal with feudal units, but you do need to have a lot more units than them. As we can see, the armor value is +2, but the HRE is already getting his first relic back. Where is it? Yeah, it's already here. Whatever he got, but we really want to contest these mid-map relics. As we can see, a prelate's already going back. So you kind of do need to leave one unit at each relic and just make sure they can't pick it up for free. Ideally, like one archer can contest a prelate, but if you don't have archers, you kind of have to use knights. These walls, I mean, I guess, but we really need to be playing aggressive here. If we're in a defensive scenario, we've already lost. And HRE picking up 2 more relics. Now there are 3 relics for absolutely free. This should be, you should be fighting tooth and nail to stop HRE from getting 3 relics. If they get 4 relics, then it's incredibly, incredibly bad. And if they get 5, you know, you've basically lost the game. Alright. Now we see the HRE knight transition. And this is the scary thing. Because, you know, he's making experiments, so you need to make archers, but these knights, they're castle knights, and they'll destroy your knights because your knights are still feudal, and they will eviscerate your archers because your archers will only be doing 1 damage to these knights. And the knights have a lot of health and a lot more damage than that. Okay. So, obviously we've made mistakes, but what do we need to do from this position? Let's take a pause. We've stacked up gold and food. Right now, you just want to make sure he doesn't get these last 2 relics, and you at this point you need to get your own castle through. So what you can do against HRE is you can like leave a unit here, but you can also, especially as Reese, you can wall these relics in, and your walls are much tankier than the wood walls, at least, of any other civ, and so it's gonna be very hard for him to break through, and it's gonna allow you that time to get castle. If you get some walls up here, it does mean at least he doesn't get 5 relics, but it's still a pretty bad spot for you. The good news is you are up on vills. You're up more vills than you should be, actually, which means he hasn't really made enough villagers. And to lower, one thing that high rank people do and low rank people try to copy is they'll only queue up like 1 vill in each TC. I would say if you're, you know, gold or plat, queue up 5 vills in each of these TCs. It's because you're going to be idling your TCs otherwise, and it's basically like you're paying 200 food to make sure that you don't idle, and that's really good to me. Even to like Diamond and Conqueror players, I would say, you know, queue up 2 or 3 vills. Don't just queue up 1 vill, because, you know, the pro players can do it, or I should say low conks and diamonds. The pro players can do it, but I wouldn't say anyone else really should try to do that. Yeah, and we didn't wall up this. He's gonna get 5 relics as HRE. Like this is extremely bad. You do have a good high trade house though, which is good, nice for you. And you're almost twice his vil count. The bad thing is he has a lot more army than you. All right. So from this position, yep, he's actually doing a much better job this game at queuing up vils. He's gotten all these techs. One thing to keep in mind is ranged armor and ranged attack is much more important than melee damage and melee attack, because I guess we haven't made any archers from these archery ranges, so they've basically been useless. Queuing up fills. Yeah, we're both queuing up fills here. Alright, so from right here, you're not really in a good position, but I don't know if you know that your opponent's making knights. If you know that your opponent's making knights, if they're in spear, knight, oh, here, I'll give the audience a question. What unit comp counters this? If you said archer spearman, you would technically be correct. However, archer spearman, he just makes a few men-at-arms and now he's countering you. So what you really want to do is spearman crossbow, and that way the knights are getting hard countered and he can't switch into men-at-arms, and these spearmen won't trade amazingly. So you want to go spearman crossbow, get like a single mango or something, and then just mass units go for a push. You have stacked up so much resources, you almost have enough for imp. You really want to be spending this. Okay, we are going into crossbows. Can we see a couple barracks and go into spearmen as well? Okay, we've got a lot of idle vills over here. Getting this boar is pretty good for you, actually. Our HRE has stopped gathering food almost completely. Yeah, I don't think the HRE is gathering food. Like right now, we could go for a timing and we could completely kill him, even though he has 5 relics. Like one is not even put in. You know, we've got this thing over here. If we just got like 3 rams, we went spear crossbow, and we just started pushing him, like he can't keep up production anymore. Now he's switching into farms, but you almost have 3k food. If this food was units right now, this HRE player would be dead. And now we're going into stone. I don't know why we're going into stone. We need to just be making units here. We're going more archery ranges, but we need a front line for this. Our knights are not going to be a good front line. You know he's making spears, and like if you try to frontline his spears with knights, then you're just gonna lose all your knights. What are we doing with these knights, by the way? We are being active with them. We are trying to get raids, which is good. Yeah, the issue here is the HRE doesn't need to go onto the map because he's just gonna start. We're going Spaskaya Tower. Alright, I know I said that if you have enough to go imp, just go imp in my last video. And I know that he watches these, but it was not that was not the correct decision here. I should say if you have a big army, like if this was 40 crossbows and like 20 knights, yeah, just go imp if you like overstack your resources. But if we're gonna go for this, if we're gonna go for a Spaskaya drop, we should drop it right here. We drop it right here, and then he needs to go imp to contest it. The issue, if we did go for it right here, we also need to pull like 40 vils and just make sure. And we would lose vils to make this go up, but once it goes up, we are in an amazing position to just like start trebbing all his landmarks. Right here, like this is a good-ish spot. The issue is the HRE won't need to go out into the map for another, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes. Just because he has all the gold he needs from these relics. Like, he has 5 relics. He has all the gold he needs from those. And then he's got his farming eco going. So now all he needs is his wood, and he's not really even gathering that much wood. Okay, so you've got Imp. So what should we do from this position? Well, we should just start mining tons and tons of gold, and we should just go into Mass Streltsky. No, but we're still making crossbows. We can go into Mass Streltsky here, and we can obliterate his army. We are going on this gold, which I guess is a good decision. I mean, we're keeping these golds, but we're playing like we want to play for the late game, but you don't want to play for the late game against full relegate HRE, especially when you didn't go the armory. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's the siege landmark that gives you better siege. Because now, his siege is just better because he's going to have culverins. And you have been playing a bit better with your units. You know, you took that into consideration when I said you need to be active with these units, but you're not, you know, you're moving them around the map, but you're not actually doing anything with them. So you're not really being active in the correct way. What are we making? Okay, now we're going Streltsky. I would like to see a few crossbows, or a few spearmen. Like, you're still making knights, but you really don't want to be frontlining with these knights. Also, we need to see veterancies. We need to see veterancies for our crossbows and knights. Or, I'm not sure exactly we need them for our knights. We definitely need them for our crossbows, though. Actually, no, we have 15 knights. We definitely need to see it. Like, he hasn't even fully walled. What you could do is when there's an engagement right here, you can take all of your knights and you just go into his wood line with them. Or his wood line or this other thing. Where are our Streltsky? Are we making Streltsky? Yes, we are. How many do we have? We only have 2. Like, Streltsky utterly destroys spearmen. It is like any hand cannoneer unit utterly destroys spearmen, and they'll, like, the knights do decently against them, but if you have any sort of front line, it's fine. Okay, he is coming back here, so really you just take 5 vills, just wall this up. This correct, good job. And if he tries to break in here, then you can just call some militia. You can actually go for a timing attack with these militia. Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You do have access to stone walls because you did go spell Skya. And now, he did go over here. So, you also need to start making springolds. Okay, good job. We do see your siege workshops here. You do need to start making springolds because you're going into a very ranged heavy comp. And so a single mango will kill you. Unless you, of course, click on it with your Streltsky before anything happens. Let's check something else. What are your eco upgrades? You have not gotten horticulture. This is not good. This upgrade is an upgrade you should be getting in feudal almost every single game because it pays for itself so fast. Like, you should be on the Imperial, like, you should have this tech to 2 and you should be looking to get it to tech 3. Alright, we're trying to break through this, but we're not actually going to achieve anything. We do, like, we know that the HRE has these outpost towers. He hasn't actually gotten them with stone, so we could look to come and just burn them. Okay, we are actually microing well. We did get elites. We need elite crossbows though. Even if you're gonna stop making them, you have too many crossbows to not upgrade them. This is a good attack. These knights should not be on the gate, however. They should be burning this outpost. These elite knights, they're doing 10 fire damage. And so, you know, they're gonna kill this very quickly. Okay, we are raiding as well. This is a great job. We're distracting these 11 spears. However, if we just stop and fight, we're going to lose all these knights for free. We did make 2 trebuchets, which is good, I guess. Yeah, we're just going to kill the towers. Good job. We do need to keep making units, and the issue now is you're pretty much out of food, and you do need to do a farm transition, and it's a very awkward time to do one. Oh no, yeah, the knights are finally gonna come back. He realized they've been AFK over here for 5 minutes, and they are gonna snipe your siege. You need to, yeah, just click these knights. Oh, he's not gonna snipe the siege. Just A move, A move. Yeah, this isn't a bad fight, but again, he has a mango. You have not made any springles. This bombard was the incorrect move because he has springled mango, just 2 springles here. You need to, like, this number should be way higher. You need to keep pumping Streltsky. You have idle vills. I don't think we're making many workers. Actually, you are. Good job. It can be hard in the middle of a fight to keep clicking vills, but you're doing that. And our biggest mistake was we've kept making knights, and the unit that he has made the most is spearmen. If we just made our own spearmen, it'd be way better for us. And then we also needed like 2 springalds. And then you could just have like 1 treb or a bombard, and you just treb it down. Alright. Another thing I did mention, and this goes for 1v1s as well, is the towers. Like, there's only 3 ways out of his base, and you are fighting him in one of them. So if you just make like a tower or some wood walls on each side, then once he runs out of resources, you can immediately respond and stop him from getting anything. He is so down on vills, by the way. He hasn't been using his Wabi at all. You actually, even though he has 5 relics, you are ahead on eco, I would assume. He actually has way more food than you. You have a bit more wood, you have a lot more gold than him. So you are technically ahead by a bit. You really, really need to click this eco tech over here. We really haven't been seeing that. You have been doing well with your blacksmith upgrades, however. You've gotten almost all the tier 2s. One thing to keep in mind, but you've been playing heavy knights and you didn't get Boyer's Fortitude. That's a big mistake. Even though you really shouldn't have been making knights in the first place. Like, you really want to just stop making knights right now. Ooh, yeah, see, this is where the wood wall or the tower would come into play. And if you did that, this is 26 vills right here. This is almost half of his entire economy that you would know about. But I don't think you're going to know about this, and the keep is going to go down. And, yeah, that's not very good for you. You need springles. Are we making any? We're making 1 springle. We need like 3 springles at least. You really just need to win the siege war, and like, he's got 36 spearmen. As long as you win the siege war, he really can't kill your Streltsky with just spears. But you do. Okay, we're making a lot of Streltsky now. This is the correct move. These are elite spearmen, but your Streltsky are good. Yeah, the main thing, you're just not making your own spearmen, and against knight spearmen, your first instinct should just be to make your own spearmen, because they trade evenly with his spears and they counter his knights. Okay, do we have a university up? No. So in this scenario, what I would do is I would get the university. Oh, actually, we need to check this. We don't have roller shutter triggers. This is extremely bad. You got the movement speed, which is good because it does allow you to engage on his siege with your own siege. But you're not gonna win this fight. He's gonna destroy you. He just has, like, your only front line is knights against mass spearmen. And these Streltsky do really well, but they can get overwhelmed here, and yeah, you just need to sacrifice your siege now and move back to your Spaskaya. Yeah, because you're gonna lose all these Streltsky, and these Streltsky are very, very valuable. If you just get to pop cap with a bunch of Streltsky and like any other unit in the game, basically, then you can wipe his army. You really need to be playing into Siege more. Yeah, and now like he's been on this gold for a while. He's almost taken half this gold. You have no clue at all. Like I don't doubt you have this whole map scouted because you were playing Roos. You should know this is his closest gold. So if he wants to go on to gold, he has to get this. And so like he's either going on to this gold or he's going on to this gold, and this gold's way more exposed. So honestly, like you really want something to notice when he's on this gold. Blaze keeps watching. Yeah, he's got a tremendous bank of food right now. Which obviously he could just like make a bunch of units right now and he could kill you with that bank. You are finally starting to gather quite a bit of food now. We still don't see horticulture. This is insanely bad. Like these 3 horticulture techs or agriculture food techs, I guess. If you get all 3 plus 45% gather speed, that's basically like instead of having 45 vills on food, you have like 65 vills on food. And you would be gathering way more. You would probably be you'd be gathering 3k food in a minute instead of 2k. Okay, does he have a roller shutter triggers though? He does. Do you have it yet? You don't. You're getting the ram tech. You don't need this. What you need is roller shutter triggers. This is the first tech, unless you're a Culverin Civ, like the HRE. Actually, why is he making Springalds? He should just be making Culverins. But I digress. If you are not a Culverin Civ, this is the first tech you should be getting in Imperial in almost every case. If there is any siege being made, then this is so important. This is probably the most important tech in the entire game. Because your Springalds with 10 range cannot fight against Springalds with 12 range. It just won't happen. By the time your Springalds roll up to his Springalds, you'll already have lost half of your own Springalds. And he can just pull back. Okay, you do know about this. This is good. You are going for Rams here. But he has way more army than you at this point, which really isn't that good. Like, he is on such a low vill count compared to you, and it's been this way the entire game. Yeah, you did let him get 5 relics, which is really bad, and he also has Tithe Barns now, which means that instead of each relic being about 4 vills, by the way, each relic is about 2 vills for most civs. However, HRE gets double gold, so each relic is about 4 vills. However, with Tithe Barns also means each relic's generating an additional 90 resources, so each relic becomes about 6 vills. And so 6 times 5, 30. You know, you're still ahead, but it's really like he is somehow on the same eco as you, basically, with 50 less vills because you gave him 5 relics and, you know, you don't have horticulture. And even then, I still think you're gathering a bit more. But we're just, like, it's not even the micro. It's really just the fact that we're not doing the right things. Are we still, like, we're making horsemen now. Why are we making horsemen? Like, he is mass spearmen. He has 70 spearmen. We should not be making cavalry. Like, we should either be making our own spearmen, or if you really want to, just man-at-arms to frontline. This, you know, this is what's losing you this game. I know it kind of looks like you keep going into his base, but at this point he has cannon outposts, and he vastly outnumbers you in army, as well as having a huge bank, and so he can replace this army almost instantly if he wants to. Okay, we do have our thing. We got chemistry. Alright, that's good. But the problem with chemistry is our units, the Streltsky, are already overkilling by a lot. And so it doesn't, it's a great technology, but it's more important that we're making melee units and we get our elite army tactics. Like in this scenario, we should, like if you're playing correctly, you should have mass siege. Like we're still making rams. Like these rams will do absolutely nothing. I hate to tell you this, but they'll go in and they'll get just murdered by all the spearmen. So what our army comp should look like, it should be spearmen, Streltsky, and then just a bunch of Springolds. And so the first upgrade we should get is elite army tactics, then siege works, and then chemistry. We're getting incendiary arrow now. Why are we doing this? You're trying to switch into archers, but even against mass spears, it's way better to make Streltsky. The Streltsky, you know, they're doing, one thing about archers is these archers, well, they're veteran archers, but at elite they're doing 9 damage, and then 12 damage, so they're getting, they would get a +3, because one thing to take a note is incendiary arrows does not affect bonus damage, and so they're not getting affected that hard, and at 130 vills, we should be maxed out constantly, and so a Streltsky is actually doing way better against the spearman than even an archer, just because it's got way more attack. The archer with all the upgrades is probably doing about 25 damage about, with 1.5 attack speed. Streltsky, they have 2.1, but they attack faster when they stand still. Does he have lancers? You could actually, yeah, you could actually fight this. We have Lanchets over here, and the Lanchets are what could do damage. Against an HRE, you need to have spread formation, because we're gonna see this Lanchet swing, and it's gonna kill. Yeah, look how fast everything died. That was only 2 Lanchets. So we really need that front line, and now we see the mass siege. Like, 4 trebuchets worth of siege units is so much pop cap. You should just be winning the fight so hard. And like, it's very good for you to make Streltsky. You also didn't make like a tower or anything here. Now he's on another gold, which you really shouldn't allow. And now your Spellskaya is dead. And now I'm gonna break it to you. You're probably gonna die within the next 5 minutes, because he has so much bank to remass. You did actually do a raid here. You did a big raid. That was good. That was good on you. However, the vills don't really matter to HRE players. I think you killed like probably 10 vills there, which is good. But he can remake that so quickly and so cheaply that it would have been way better for you to take those horsemen and kill all this siege. Okay, you are rebuilding the Spellskaya, but you're out of wood now, which isn't great. Do we have... Okay, you got your first... You got your first food tech just now. I mean, that's good, I guess. But yeah, you're still making knights. And you don't want to be making knights. What's our blacksmith? You got all your blacksmith techs. Which is good, I guess. You didn't forget them. But yeah, like, you're struggling so hard to kill this guy, and now it's at a point where you're gonna struggle even more. He only has 19 on food, but he just has such a big bank. You haven't been trading cost efficiently at all. Let's look. Yeah, he has double the destroyed army value as you have. That means he is trading twice as well as you are, and he's been doing that the entire game. And the reason is because you're just moving like all these knights and horsemen into a big blob of spearmen, and then you're pumping up your Streltsky so that a few Lanchets can just tear them apart. your army is gonna get wiped here, and then you're gonna lose the game because he can just at this point he can just A move all the way into your base, and you'll die. We're trying to repair this, but yeah, he's sieging us down, and right now it's game over. So I'm just gonna speed it up. Yeah, 0 military units at this point. You should probably just GG because you're not gonna be coming back. Let's wait until the game is over, and then let's start talking about the mistakes you made this game. So first off, you did exactly what you're supposed to do with your first scout, which is go up here. Your second scout should have come here, but then you didn't queue up your third scout in time, and so you lost your entire hunt that was in your base to your opponent. That is terrible. And so you, before like 4 minutes, before the game even started, you are already behind. Next, what did you do wrong? Well, you really want your stable to come out faster. And against an HRE player, you want your knights coming out faster, and then you don't even have to go second TC. I would suggest don't do it. Like, don't go second TC against an HRE. Just get your production down fast. That's another thing you didn't do, by the way. Getting your production down. You had the stable and then you went blacksmith. That's a big mistake. You need an archery range after that. So you go stable, archery range, you push, and then once you have done damage, once you have made sure he can't get castled, then if you want to go second TC, you can do that. But you allowed him to go naked fast castle, and you should never ever allow an HRE player to do that. So what's the third mistake? So the third mistake, he got castle, and then you let him get all the relics. You let him get 5 relics. The relic you have next to your base should never be gotten in under any circumstance, and you gave up every single other relic for free. Like, you really want to just, if you had left like 1 archer, 1 knight on each of the relics in front, you would have really stopped him from getting the sacred site or the relics. That's actually another thing you could have done. You had full map control for so long, you could have gone for a sacred site win, and he probably couldn't have stopped you. So yeah, that's another thing. What else? So you let him get all sacred sites, or you let him get all the relics. What should you do from there? Well, you needed to push him with spearman crossbow, and you went into knights, even though he was massing spearmen, which is the incorrect move. Spearman crossbow would have been way better there. What's the next thing? Well, you didn't really push him, and then you went Imperial, because I assume you weren't macron correctly. If you're gonna go for a Spalskaya tower, by the way, is not as good as the siege landmark, but so if you're gonna make Spalskaya, it has to be for a specific purpose. Like, a lot of Rus players make Spalskaya against the Chinese so that the fire lancers can't just burn through all their wood walls and like go into their base. So like, if you wanted a bunch of stone walls, yeah, you can make Spalskaya. If you want to do a drop, and if you want to make the drop super aggressive and go right up against his wall and like pull 40 vills, I would support Spalskaya. But you made it in the middle of the map, where it's not really accomplishing that much. Another thing you did wrong, we didn't see any of the towers, like granting vision, and you had map control, but you just let him get on the big golds, and you let him get outside of his hill, which you shouldn't have done. The next thing, okay, so you were in Imperial. Again, you need to make those melee units. You did spam Streltsy, which was the correct idea, but then you needed to just make more Springolds and win the Springold War. And that's why the Siege Landmark is so good, because your Springolds are suddenly cheaper, and they are costing, and they have extra range, so they're actually trading better. They're better than his Springolds, basically. What else? I think that was all the mistakes you made, except for the food. Of course, you did not get your food upgrade, which is extremely important. That thing should have come down in feudal. As soon as the first time you go on to start mining a berry patch, that's when, at that point, you need to get it. What else? I think that was it. Like, if you had done probably any of the things I just mentioned, you probably would have won that game. Like, your opponent just wasn't making vills, and you had a... Let's talk about the good things you did. You made vills constantly, and you were up to a very healthy vill count. And just from the fact that you were making vills and he wasn't, you should have won that game. What else did you do well? You did... Okay, the Mastrelski idea actually was good, but you didn't really follow it up with the Spearman and the Springles you needed to break him. But... yeah, once... you might have actually decided to go for an M timing. Which, I mean... you probably should have just gone for a castle timing, but... I did like the Mastrelski. You did manage to get map control, but you didn't really properly leverage it. Yeah, but we also did see, like, you did implement some of the stuff I mentioned in my previous video. But I think I'm going to leave it there, and we'll check in later, and we'll see how he does.